Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P on the corner, in the corner boxing. What? Hey, it's fight week, y'all already know. I did a video already about Terence, Crawford, and Jeff Horn. I'm doing another one because this fight has been underly promoted. So, hey, look, I'm going to promote it every day till the fight. But anyway, it's fight week Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. June the 5th, June the 9th, this thing going down. And, I'm going to hit it from a different perspective today. Y'all know I am a Terence Crawford fan. I am not a fanboy, you know. And what I mean by that, man, a lot of people say, oh, fanboy, whatever, what is that? You fan of this person, whatever. Look, I am a fan of the sport of boxing before I am a fan of any boxer, you know. And what I mean by that is, man, I look to see, I want to see the best for the longevity of the sport, if that makes any sense. So when I look at boxing and take a look at these fights, you know, and what fights, you know, I want to see as a fan, you know, it's not just from my perspective as being a fan of a certain boxer, but more so as a fan of the sport. So when I talk, you know, that's how I talk, as a fan of the sport, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hit it from a different perspective today, just exploring the chance that Jeff Horn has to upset Terence Crawford. And which is, hey, look, this guy has more than just a puncher's chance. I heard somebody else say this. I think it was somebody left a comment on one of my videos, and I agree. Jeff Horn has more than just a puncher's chance to win this fight. And if you notice, Jeff Horn has been an underdog, and according to his trainer, just something his trainer said, he's been an underdog, you know, every time he fights a big fight. Like, you know, before he fought like Pacquiao, you know, Randall Bailey, you know, he was underdog. Every time he fought somebody that was worth fighting, he has basically been the underdog, and he has basically been, you know, coming into the fight, you know, against the odds. You know, people, you know, everybody says, okay, well, Jeff Horn is gonna lose this fight, but he's undefeated. Now, while he does have only 18 fights professionally, you know, some people don't know that this guy was an Olympian. Now, he did start boxing late, you know. Most boxers start fighting when they very young, but at the same time, you know, this guy has, I mean, he might not have the amateur pedigree as some people, but he still have more than others. You know, it's a lot of people that make it to, you know, Olympic type games, you know what I'm saying? But this guy has, so he does have a special touch in the sport, you know, make no mistake about it. And I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat anything. This guy is, you know, hey, he is a I got to say, man, he's a big threat to 147, and not just a big threat. He is one of the guys to me that can mix it up. I said it in another video. This guy can mix it up with the best of them at 147. I really will, whether he wins or loses against Terence Crawford, I think that he matches up well against any of these upper echelon fighters at 147. And I really mean that, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I might be challenged for saying that, but I really believe that, you know. I'm not gonna say anything based on somebody else. Like, if somebody else says something and I agree, I'll say I agree, but that's not what forms my opinion. My opinion is genuinely my opinion, you know. And I really do believe that Jeff Horn matches up well against any of the upper echelon welterweights. Now, I say this, he'll match up well to me against Sean Porter, you know. And that might really be a good fight. I think he matches up well with Danny Garcia. You know, Danny Garcia, Jeff Horn, I would love to see that fight. And what a lot of people will say is that Danny Garcia does well against guys that come forward. It may be Manny Pacquiao too. Manny Pacquiao usually does well with come forward type fighters, but Jeff Horn is a different type of come forward guy. You know, he is very awkward with his forward movement. He comes in at different angles, and he is a very rough and rugged type of guy. You know, he's very aggressive. So I'm gonna tell you, I think he'll match up well against Danny Garcia, who is, to me, an upper echelon welterweight. Like I say, Sean Porter. I think that him and Errol Spence will be a good fight, you know. So yeah, man. You know, the only thing about Jeff Horn is the company that promotes him primarily is not very big in the States and around the world. So Bob Arum, Top Rank, promotes him secondarily, and is probably what gives, you know, that's why he has the opportunities he have right now, you know. So but if he loses to Terence Crawford, you know, Top Rank will probably not do a lot of, you know, I mean, just being honest. And that's something that him and his team has been pretty vocal about. And so he feels like, and that's another reason why I believe this is going to be a real good fight, is because he feels like if he loses this thing, man, his career is weighing in the balance. So he really, you know, he has every motivation to, man, hey, do well. So I think he gonna come out like a raging bull, man, and try to win this thing. But anyway, like I say, if he does, I mean, this, to me, if he loses, just like, okay, I'm gonna give you this little scenario here, man. To me, Danny Garcia lost, right, to Keith Thurman, but that was a loss that still, you know, it didn't make his stock plummet because of the way he lost. You know, he lost, he made it a real tough fight, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't make his stock plummet. And also, look at who he has backing him. You know, Al Heyman and Premier Boxing Champions are not, like, per se a promotion company, but they are a backing that has, you know, hey. And then right now, anyway, Premier Boxing Champions has all of, you know, the lion's share of good welterweights right now. So, you know, for somebody, so for a guy like Danny Garcia, you know, who is a Latin American, you know, they have a good fan base anyway, you know what I'm saying? And being aligned with Premier Boxing Champions that have all the good welterweights, you know, for him, hey, look at what he doing. He about to fight. They just came, they passed, they canceled the purse bid because they came to a deal to fight for the WBC championship, you know? So, you know, just that scenario alone tells me that, hey, a loss doesn't necessarily mean that your career weighs in the balance, but, you know, look at his backing and his background, you know. But with Jeff Horn, if he loses to Terence Crawford, where does he go from there? You know what I'm saying? And what fight does he have next? Now, if he wins against Terence Crawford, according to Bob Arum, he will put, you know, whoever wins this fight up against some of the best welterweights, you know what I'm saying, from other, you know, promotion companies and other, you know, that have a different background than just Top Rank. So, you know, Jeff Horn feel like he got to win this fight, man. But to me, if he lose this fight, I think he matches up well with anybody else in the division. The thing is, will he be matched up with him? You know, who would be his backing to match him up? And so that's why I believe, man, he has a lot of motivation, man, to do well in this fight. And I don't think he take this fight lightly. I think he seems to be a very hard worker. You know, that from what I've gathered. You know, I ain't been in his training camp, but, you know, his trainer seems very serious. They've been talking all that trash, boy. They better be planning to back it up. But anyway, look, Jeff Horn, as much as he's been the underdog, he has all of the motivation necessary to win this fight. And, you know, but like I say, win or lose, I think he match up well against any of these other welterweights. But what chance does he have? And, you know, you see what type of promotion Bob Arum is doing for this particular fight. And this is a big fight. And I'm not sure how his contract is set up. I don't know how long he has on his contract or anything with Top Rank, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, hey, this guy has motivation to win this fight. But my thing is this, man. Hey, Jeff Horn, he brings a lot to the table in the welterweight division. Win or lose against Terence Crawford, I think he still matches up well with the upper echelon in that division. But, you know, it's just unclear to see what his future would be like if he lost. With that being said, tactically, what would it take for Jeff Horn to beat Terence Crawford? And I don't know, I'm befuddled, but I mean, I imagine it would take some of the same tenacity that he fought Manny Pacquiao, with that same ferociousness, you know. Now, you know, I know that Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford are two different beasts in their own right. But with Manny Pacquiao, he was just very tenacious. You know, he came with that awkward style. And, you know, he got the job done. I mean, I don't know. Hey, that was a very close fight. Some people say controversial. And I particularly scored it for Pacquiao. But if it's a close fight, you can't really, you know what I'm saying, cry about it. So, I mean, maybe he can win the same type of fight. Keep it close. Now, Glenn Rushton say them boys looking for the knockout. Plain and simple. And I know they probably prepared to go 12. You know, when you fighting a boxer like Terence Crawford, you have to be prepared to go 12. But, hey, them guys say they looking for a knockout. They come for the knockout, you know. And, you know, when you fighting a boxer, like I said, against Terence Crawford, hey, you better. Now, he ain't go outbox Terence Crawford. I'd be hard-pressed to see Jeff Horn outbox Terence Crawford. But, you know, he would have to maul him. He would have to stay on top of him. Pressure. You know, it'll have to be an ugly fight for him. Terence Crawford, hands down, wins the pretty fight. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford wins the boring fight. So I don't know. You know, I don't have the blueprint for him to beat Terence Crawford. You know, I don't have the blueprint for it, but you know, both of these guys are undefeated, man. Both of them. So really, it's no blueprint to beat one or the other. Now, I can honestly see a scenario where Terence Crawford outboxes him and make it look like a, you know, boring fight. But Terence Crawford by no means is a boring fighter. And, you know, it's been said that he is hittable, you know. Yeah, he can be touched, you know. And if Jeff Horn, I mean, you can look at his, he only have, you know, I said 18 fights earlier. He has won 18 fights. He's been in 19 fights because he has a draw. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. But this is the thing. It is an upset alert because just for that simple fact, man, neither guy has a clear-cut blueprint to say this how you beat the other one. You know? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm leaning towards Terence Crawford. I'm giving him a slight edge in the fight. But hey, I mean, hey, what can you say? You have an undefeated fighter. What is a blueprint to beat him? Either of them, you know? So I really think Jeff Horn has a legitimate chance to upset Terence Crawford. And, you know, with that being said, man, hey, look, I just can't, I can't tell you how. You know, I can think of a couple scenarios how Terence Crawford could pull the win out. But, you know, as far as Jeff Horn beating Terence Crawford, I mean, I can't imagine it, but it's very possible, you know. And the odds are against Jeff Horn, but at the same time, this young man has proven over and over again as the underdog that you cannot underestimate him, you know. And I think it's going to be a very good fight, and I cannot wait to see these guys clash, you know. Now Jeff Horn, you know, he's going to have to use his size just like he did over Manny Pacquiao. You know, he really exerted himself as the bigger guy versus Manny Pacquiao. You know, if he's going to do this against Terence Crawford, though, the fight is going to look a little bit different, because while I said this before, but while Terence Crawford has a smaller frame and is coming up in weight, his height presents a different type of a target than Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn are virtually about the same height, you know. I think what, Jeff Horn is 5'9", Terence Crawford is 5'8". Crawford has a slight reach advantage, you know, so yeah, you know, I think the awkwardness is gonna give Terence Crawford a go at first, you know what I'm saying? And I think Terence Crawford is not gonna be able to exploit that reach advantage at first. Once he makes adjustments, you know, I can see Terence Crawford keeping him at the end of a good jab. You know what I'm saying? Especially in that southpaw stance. But that's after making adjustments. The thing with Jeff Horn is with that awkward style, I think he's going to be able to cut the distance at first. You know? And I've heard I didn't see it in the interview, I saw it on the article, where Jeff Horn said something to the effect that, hey, he'd like to go ahead and get him out of there. Let's blow him away early. Get him out of there. You know, so he could shut up critics. Like, get him out in the first round or something like that. And hey, if he's going to get him out of there, it will have to be early to me. You have to try to... I don't really see Terence Crawford coming in cold, you know, but that would be his best opportunity to me, is to try to catch Terence Crawford cold and, you know, jump on him. But if you give Terence Crawford, I said this before too, Terence Crawford reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. I'm not saying stylistically and like he has the same style as Floyd. That's not what I'm saying. But he comes in and, you know, in the early goings, he's computing in his mind everything he needs to know, and he retrieves this data and uses it once he, you know, has gathered everything he needs. Like, for instance, you know, in the early goings, he may start slow sometimes, but he's gathering everything he needs, like how you throwing shots, you know, that you are throwing, what angles you're coming from, and how you throw your shots at these different angles. How you cut distance. See, Floyd Mayweather, he when you first see him, just like me, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. and this is to me the perfect example. When Floyd Mayweather fought Mosley, Sugar Shane Mosley, them first couple rounds, man, Sugar Shane Mosley was hell, you know, and Sugar Shane Mosley wobbled Floyd Mayweather twice in that second round. But the thing about Mosley, he kept looking for that same, you know, sequence. He couldn't find it again. Floyd Mayweather had, you know, figured out what he did to cut that distance, and he used it against him in the second part of the fight. And he picked Shane Mosley apart. The whole rest of that fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. did nothing but exploit the fact that, hey, look, yeah, you used this on me earlier to cut distance, but you're not finna do that again to me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and something they did say, Glenn Rushton said, he talked about how Yuri Orkins Gambler had wobbled Terence Crawford. He said, if we, you know, basically they were saying that if they hurt him, they go get him out of there, you know, and they better. If you get him hurt, you better go ahead and take him out, you know. But the thing about Jeff Horn, and I'm sure this is the fight of his life, and I think that he's going to be in good condition for it. But man, Pacquiao had him about out of there in ninth. And, you know, vice versa, you know, versus Terence Crawford. If Terence Crawford hurts him, he's a better finisher. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is a different weight class though, you know? And those are the things that, you know, the reasons why Jeff Horn can win this fight. Terence Crawford is coming up in weight. Terence Crawford does display his speed, his power, all of this stuff. It came up with him from, you know, lightweight to super lightweight. But this is welterweight, so, you know, it's yet to be seen whether these type of things will come up. But still, the fact remains he is a good finisher, you know. So, you know, that's yet to be seen. But that's in Jeff Horn's favor. He is the naturally bigger guy. You got a guy coming up in weight, you know. Will he be able to finish Jeff Horn if he has him hurt? Will he be able to hurt Jeff Horn, you know? Will that type of power that he's had, you know, move up with him? Now, I'm not saying that he needs that to win the fight, you know, with his skills. Something I seen Richardson say, you know, he's so talented until, you know, who's to say that he needs his power to win the fight? Now, with that being said as well, you know, the power factor, you know, he just got to outbox Jeff Horn. Otherwise, that's if his power is not enough. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people saying, you know, that Terence Crawford will finish the guy. I'm not saying he can't, you know, but the question is his power moving up with him, you know. A lot of people saying, hey, Terence Crawford go beat him in, you know, 8 or 9 by KO. I mean, I'm not one that's really screaming that, you know. And I believe Crawford will win a 12-round decision, you know, and I think it favors Crawford if they go the whole 12 rounds. So that's why I, you know, if Jeff Horn is going to win this thing, he probably does need a knockout, you know. But I'm not ruling out that Jeff Horn can't pull out a decision. You know, I thought that against Manny Pacquiao, but he won the decision against Pacquiao, you know. But this thing here in Las Vegas, man, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'll keep saying the same thing over and over because I'm trying to think of a scenario and it's hard to come up with, but I'm going to just say this here, man, and be done with it. Jeff Horn has a legitimate chance to upset Terence Crawford. You know, I can't really tell you how, because there hasn't been a blueprint, you know. And that's vice versa, you know. That's for Terence Crawford as well. What blueprint can I tell you, you know, that's gonna work against Jeff Horn? Because I mean, he hasn't been beaten yet. So, but anyway, this Daddy P, man, y'all leave me a comment, tell me what y'all think, man. I just can't wait to see this thing, and I'm gonna try to make a video. I know I had a couple things going on, you know, earlier in the day, so I didn't get this thing out, you know, before Tuesday was over. It's now Wednesday, but I started recording this yesterday, man. But anyway, I'm gonna keep making these videos, you know, until the fight, because somebody need to keep this fight in the minds of the people. By the way, it's gonna be on the ESPN Plus app. You're gonna have to download that. It's $4.99 a month, from what I understand. You can get a 7-day trial. I'm gonna go ahead and probably download the app for my TV probably on Thursday, just so I can play with it, see how it works and all of that, you know, and still have my 7 days, you know what I'm saying, if I want to keep it or not. So but yeah, you have to download that ESPN Plus app in order to watch this fight. It's going down on June the 9th, you know, a few more days. So yeah, man, it was good to chop it up with y'all. This Daddy P. Go ahead and slap that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time it's going down. This Daddy P on the corner, in the corner boxing, out of it.